So what happened today, Andrew?
We were heading in my car to Searchlight from Laughlin. It's probably about a 45-minute drive, and it's really in the middle of nowhere, and we started to head into a town, and I saw in a parking lot some people that I knew, so they kind of directed me into the parking lot, and I decided to park there. I thought that this was where we were going to park and walk to the main event. So I get out of the car, and I see that on the sidewalks near this Nugget Casino where I was parked, on the sidewalks were, I'd say, about 50 Harry Reid supporters.
Okay.
That had Harry Reid signs. And the cameras were rolling. People started to film me. I thought I was parked and that we were going to start walking. I was going to get on a bus or something. And as I'm figuring out that this isn't where the time that I realized that I wasn't where I was supposed to be was when the guy who was standing on the side of the road with a sign that said Searchlight and an arrow, and he was pointing it in one direction, he said to me that he's misdirecting the Tea Party people down the wrong road.
Oh, wow.
There's a wrong highway. And that is like, that, I'd say that's when things started to go somewhat south, because I said to the guy, why would you do that? You know, like, why would you misdirect people? And he looked like a river rat. There will be video of him, and he just looked like Children of the Corn meets River's Edge. And I was like, what's up? Why would you do that? Asked him about it. He had this mischievous laugh, this mischievous grin, and the entire group of the Harry Reid supporters started to come around me and started to kind of look like they wanted to congregate around me. And I think somebody said, I've seen you on TV. That's the guy that's on TV. I saw him on MSNBC on the Dylan Ranigan show. Right when I was, asking why would you support, misdirecting traffic, that crowd of people started to throw eggs against the big Tea Party Express bus.
Wow.
And it was at that point that I said, what's going on? Why did you do that? And I didn't see who the individual was.
Right.
All I saw was that this group of about 50 that was within 5 to 10 feet of me, some were much closer than I was. I would say that the people who threw the eggs were, maybe about 10 feet away from me. They had just thrown it, and as I started to try and look to find out who threw the egg, I go, who threw that? Who threw that? They started to push that person or people away, and they kind of created sort of a wall.
Right.
They tried to do something that they just tried to obscure that the event had happened, but we had cameras rolling, and you could see the event occur within 2 or 3 seconds after it occurred. You saw the bus go by with the egg. You saw the aftermath of the eggs on the ground. And I think that sort of instigated that group into a much more aggressive tack.
Right.
And it happened so quickly that it turned into something nasty.
Right.
And as I was standing there looking for the culprit, every person became animated there against me. And I must say, I don't like backing down from a confrontation. So, one guy, the first guy that I felt like wanted to have state his piece to me in a somewhat threatening way, was a black guy. And he just accused me of being a racist. And I very gently said, name one thing I've ever said that's racist. Well, that was happening. These people all had Harry Reid signs up, and my people were filming, making sure everything that I said was documented. So I was very cognizant that the cameras were documenting what was happening, and that it was protecting me from acting did something that I didn't do. So I wasn't really fearful,
Right.
anything at that point other than violence. But then the group of people
Right.
And so at that moment, one guy is saying, I'm going to have to go to jail today if we don't get this guy out of here, which I took as a threat.
Okay.
And that was obvious. That was like, nothing could have been more obvious.
Sure.
Like, I'm going to have to get violent with this guy if you don't leave here right now. And I just got out of there. And as I'm walking back towards where my car was, multiple police cars come towards me.
Okay.
And one guy in an SUV police car asked me to come towards him. And I said, and he said to me, you need to come over here. And I said, yes, officer. And I'm being filmed during this. And he goes, that group of people are saying that you threw eggs and instigated what just happened.
Oh my God.
I go, and I said, excuse me? I said, I've got a camera guy with me, and I can show you the tape if you want to show what happened. Multiple police cars come towards me. The guy asked me to come over. I come over, and he says, what were you doing over there? I said, I was just standing there. I was having a conversation with the guy who was misdirecting traffic, and then I saw a bunch of eggs being thrown on the Tea Party thing, and then these people started to, attack me, or threaten me and act in a threatening manner. And it says they said that they called the police and said that I was the person who had thrown the eggs, and that I was the one that was acting in a threatening manner. So at every step of the way, that group of people acted as a coordinated mass, using confusion and intimidation, and at no point did any one person in that group do what I thought normal, decent people would do, is say, enough is enough. Like, why are you doing this to this guy? It was just a strange moment. I mean, you can write about these type of tactics, but to experience it and just to try and look into the eyes of these people and trying to reason with them was impossible. They're always throwing curveballs. Like calling the cops on me to blame me for what they did, and which was caught on tape, seemed very insane.
Right.
It's one thing to read about this behavior. It's one thing to have another person tell you about this behavior, but it's a completely different thing to experience it as it's happening, to see how a mob acts and how even individuals within that mob act.
Right.
It was very, very strange. And I to hear that the Tea Party movement, which decided to do something in the middle of nowhere, not trying to threaten a single person under the sun, but this group of Harry Reid supporters would go to here and be armed with eggs, meaning they were there to cause trouble. They were there to misdirect people. They were there to sow confusion.
Right.
And when confronted with even questions, they lied. They called the police and tried to issue a false, to send the police on a false, mission.
Right.
Go against me instead of the perpetrators. It was troubling.
Sure.
I don't have. It's not. I'm not even ready to encapsulate it perfectly. I can just say that the irony could not be greater.
Right.
The press is barking up the tree that the Tea Party movement is the one that is unhinged,
Sure.
that is frothing at the mouth, that is violent. It was troubling.
Sure.
I